They said he'd need time, that the jump from college to the pros would expose him, that his instincts would take months, maybe years to catch up to the speed of the NFL. But in Philadelphia, patience is a luxury the fans don't grant easily, and Cooper DeJean didn't need any. 4 games into his second NFL season, the rookie-turned-breakout star has already rewritten expectations for what a young defensive back can be. The same people who called him a nice project in the 2024 draft are now wondering if they're watching the birth of the next great Eagles defender, a player whose every tackle, every read, and every interception seems to tilt the field in Philadelphia's favor. It's hard to explain just how fast Cooper DeJean has forced his name into NFL conversations. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. The Eagles had just come off another deep playoff run, their defense stacked with experience but showing cracks in the secondary. When DeJean arrived, he wasn't asked to be a savior, just to learn, to absorb, to contribute. Instead, he became the kind of defender who makes you forget what came before him. Explosive, instinctual, relentless. The moment he steps on the field, the energy changes. Coaches talk about players who diagnose plays, but DeJean feels them, sees them unfolding seconds before everyone else. Against Tampa Bay early in the 2025 season, that sixth sense was on full display. The Buccaneers' offense came in hot, pushing tempo, testing mismatches. But every time they tried to isolate a receiver or stretch a run outside, number 3 was already there. He led the team with 9 tackles, broke up 2 passes, and flew into the backfield with the kind of authority that makes running backs hesitate. Every big moment in that game seemed to find him, and every time it did, the result was the same. A drive-ending hit, a momentum shift. Another flash of brilliance from a player who looked like he'd been doing this for a decade. He's only 22 years old, but he fills gaps like he's been in the league since before TikTok existed. He erases mistakes before they can become highlights. And when the whistle blows, he just walks away like it was routine, because for him, it is. This isn't a young player finding his footing. It's a cornerstone announcing himself. But to really understand how we got here, you have to go back before the viral highlights, before the nickname All-Pro Co-op, back to Iowa City, where a quiet kid from small-town Iowa turned defensive dominance into an art form. At the University of Iowa, Cooper DeJean didn't just defend passes. He flipped games. As a sophomore in 2022, he racked up 75 tackles, 56 of them solo, and intercepted 5 passes, 3 of which he returned for touchdowns. 3 pick-sixes in one season. That's not a statistic. That's a warning label. His knack for being in the right place at the right time wasn't luck. It was vision, timing, and the kind of anticipation that can't be coached. Injuries slowed him in 2023. But even in just 10 games, he forced his way into All-American conversations. By the time the 2024 draft arrived, teams knew he could do everything. Line up outside, drop back to safety, play the slot, blitz off the edge. But the old scouting cliches crept in. Is he fast enough? Is he twitchy enough? Can that versatility really translate on Sundays? The Eagles didn't hesitate. They saw something beyond the metrics. They saw a defender who could be the glue for a secondary in transition, a player who could stabilize chaos and create moments that define games. By week 1 of his rookie year, it was obvious Philadelphia had found something rare. DeJean didn't just look the part, he was the part. His tackling was crisp, his reads instantaneous, and when he dropped into coverage, quarterbacks began glancing his way less and less. Then came the night that sealed his legend. Super Bowl 59, Philadelphia versus Kansas City. Midway through the game, with Patrick Mahomes pressing to spark a comeback, DeJean jumped a route, snatched the ball out of the air, and sprinted 38 yards to the end zone. A rookie. In the Super Bowl. Pick 6 on the greatest quarterback in the world. That wasn't just a moment, it was a coronation. When the confetti settled and the parade was over, DeJean wasn't just a promising young player. He was a Super Bowl hero. The play ran on highlight loops across every sports network. It was the kind of moment that doesn't just define a game, it defines a career. And for Philadelphia fans, still haunted by decades of defensive heartbreak and near misses, it felt like they'd found their new Dawkins. Their new heartbeat. A.J. Brown said it best before the 2025 season even began. I call him All-Pro Coop, APC. It started as a joke, a little practice trash talk, but it stuck. Because when your teammates start calling you All-Pro before you've even made one, it's not arrogance, it's prophecy. The thing about Cooper DeJean isn't just what he does, It's how he does it. He doesn't need the spotlight. He doesn't need to bark after big plays or throw up elaborate celebrations. His confidence comes from the calm that follows chaos. You can see it when he reads a slant before it happens, or crashes a running lane before the guard even turns his head. For a defense trying to find balance after years of turnover and aging stars, that calm is gold. Philadelphia's secondary used to be defined by veterans. Darius Slay and James Bradbury were household names, the foundation on which the defense rested. But time moves fast in the NFL. Slay's now in Pittsburgh, Bradbury's out of the league, and what remains is a group that's young, aggressive, and still figuring it out. Except for one player. DeJean isn't figuring it out, he's dictating it. Alongside rookies like Quinyon Mitchell and young talents like Keely Ringo, the Eagles are building a secondary for the next decade, and DeJean is the one holding it all together. Watch the tape, and you'll see what separates him. The range, the tackling, the vision, it's all there. But what really jumps off the screen is the composure, the ability to stay one step ahead of chaos. He can slide from boundary corner to nickel in an instant, drop into a deep zone, then come crashing down and run support on the next snap. His versatility gives the Eagles a flexibility most teams can only dream about. It lets defensive coordinators disguise coverages, rotate safeties, and blitz from unexpected angles, all because APC is smart enough to make it work. That's what great defenses are built on. Not just raw talent, but trust. And in Philadelphia, that trust is already flowing in one direction, toward number 3. As of the first quarter of the 2025 season, Cooper DeJean has over 80 tackles in his young career, more than 60 solo, with 9 passes defended, a forced fumble, a recovery, and that unforgettable Super Bowl interception. Those numbers tell one story, but the tape tells another. It shows a player who processes faster than veterans, who hits harder than his frame suggests, and who understands leverage, spacing, and timing on a level that defies his age. What makes his rise so fascinating isn't just that he's good, it's how complete he is already. Most young corners take years to learn when to gamble and when to play safe. DeJean seems to have mastered that balance from day one. That's not normal. That's elite. For a franchise that's built its identity on defense, from Reggie White's fury to Dawkins's fire, DeJean represents something different. He's the calm within the storm, the one who doesn't need to shout to be heard, because every play he makes speaks louder than any soundbite ever could. And make no mistake, his ceiling is terrifying. If this is what he looks like at 22, what happens when he's 25, with 3 full off-seasons of growth under his belt? What happens when the instincts sharpen even further and the leadership takes root? We might not just be talking about a Pro Bowler. We might be watching the early chapters of a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, someone who redefines how the Eagles play defense for the next decade. It's not hyperbole. It's projection built on evidence. Cooper DeJean has already proven he can swing games. He's already proven he can handle the bright lights, the pressure, and the expectations that come with wearing midnight green. The question now isn't whether he's good enough, it's how great he can become. Because that's the thing about players like him. They don't just change defenses, they change franchises. So what do you think, Eagles fans? Is Cooper DeJean already the best defender in Philadelphia? Or is this just the opening act of something far bigger? Should the team lock him into one position and let him master it? Or keep unleashing him all over the field as the ultimate defensive chess piece? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you love stories about young stars rewriting their narratives and proving the world wrong, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive.